2015 was a magical season for the Denver Broncos. They won the division, they were the one seed in the AFC, and they were close to going to the Super Bowl. But it all fell apart at the end of the Bills game when Bo Nix injured his foot, and Jarrett Stidham had to play against the Patriots and was unfortunately not good. But that leads the question, what are the 2026 Broncos? Will they be able to recapture the magic, or was it a one-time thing? Think back to when the Titans were the one seed. Are they going to repeat that, or do they have the path for sustainable success? Well, today I'm going to talk about it and preview the 2026 Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos weren't all that active in free agency. They retained J.K. Dobbins and Alex Singleton, and that was really it. They didn't do a whole lot of splurging on bringing guys in from other rosters. No, they retained their guys, and then they made a big-time trade. And that trade was bringing in the underrated Jalen Waddle, a wide receiver who is a perfect schematic fit in Sean Payton's offense. He's got great speed, great catching ability, great route runner, and really good at pretty much every route, but his in-breaking routes are really, really good. That set him apart, and Sean Payton has a great history of utilizing in-breaking route players to their fullest potential. Jalen Waddle is the most underrated wide receiver in the NFL. How do I know that? Based off fan reaction after he was traded to the Broncos, which honestly shocked me. But Waddle was really slept on, to many fans calling it a bad move for the Broncos, when in actuality, it was the best move they could have made. The Broncos have a talented team. They have a lot of young players on their team. They need to capitalize on this roster before it ages out and you need to pay everyone. Jalen Waddle is a guy who is paid already, and he's got a pretty good value contract. You could argue he is underpaid now with how contracts have bloomed since he signed his extension. And he is still young. He's not this 30-year-old guy you're bringing to try and go for the run. No, he's young. He can still grow with the offense. He can still be a dynamic player. In fact, he was in college at the same time Bo Nix, and I know Bo Nix was in college for a long time, but that just shows you he's not that old. And in fact, he's still going to get better as he's entering his prime really still. Overall, great offseason, just moves for the Broncos when you look at free agency. They retained a couple guys, and they made their big splash move that fits beautifully in their team structure. The Denver Broncos had a solid draft. I wouldn't say it was amazing. I wouldn't say it was underrated. I would say it's solid as I see the schematic fits for the players they drafted. And that's really all you can ask for a team that's drafting late, especially for the Broncos, who didn't have a pick until the third round. Now, that was due to some trades, but that was the case. And their first pick was Tyler Odiem, who is a good run defender in my opinion. I like him as a run defender, has some potential splash as a pass rusher, but you really just think he lacks the lower body mass to really be that splash pass rusher on the inside. Overall though, I think he's a good run defender, can fight hands off really good and be impactful in that way. Jonah Coleman, I love this pick. He is a beautiful fit in a Sean Payton offense because he understands the importance of pass protection. This is a guy who said in an interview for the public that pass protection is important for running backs because it's how they stay on the field. He understands the game of football. He is going to an offense that requires pass protection from its running backs. And here's the thing, he's a talented running back as well. He can see the open hole, he can hit that with some good speed, he's got some good lower body contact ability that he can just absorb contact and keep chugging forward, but overall, just a really good, talented player that fits the scheme perfectly. In fact, he's by far my favorite pick that they made. Cage Casey, I don't have a strong opinion on him. He wasn't someone I really watched a whole bunch of. He was a fine player, and he was a fourth-round pick. Justin Jolly, a lot of people really liked him as this potential splash with his route running ability. I thought he was an interesting guy to the point I wasn't high on him because I think he's a big slot, and I don't really know if I want to use him in a big slot when I could just have a slot wide receiver out there instead of a tight end there. But if that's his role, I understand it. He's a talented route runner. He's got good athleticism. Not a good blocker. He will not be on the field for any inline blocking snaps if I had to guess, but is a talented route runner, can maybe use him in mismatches, maybe just draft him for red zone mismatches because he is a good catcher. He's a good route runner, like I said, and tight ends in the red zone. Sean Payton likes to utilize them. Miles Scott, I didn't watch a whole bunch of. Dallin Bentley, I watched a little of him. Didn't really have a strong opinion on him. He was fine. Again, fine, but 7th round pick, fine is pretty good. And Red Murdoch, I didn't watch. So overall, just like stuff I understand with what they did. Nothing besides Coleman that really had me going, yeah, that's an awesome pick. Yeah, that's going to really work out. But nothing that really had me going, but why did you do this? This doesn't make sense. He's not that good. No, they had a solid draft, and that's overall fine. So figuring out the Broncos season has me very confused. As in, we don't know what Bo Nix is going to be able to do early on. We really don't know how they're going to handle now being scouted for an entire year, how teams are going to combat their offensive attack. How are they really going to do everything? And it's Sean Payton is going to have a lot of say in the play calling. I know Davis Webb is the offensive coordinator now, and I'm a gigantic Davis Webb fan. In fact, I want my team to hire him as their head coach this January. But we really haven't seen him as a play caller. We don't know how much say Sean Payton's going to have, and at what point does Sean Payton take back play calling due to ego? Like, these are all things we have to consider here. And overall, I think this team is good. This defense is still really amazing, and the offense can be adequate. And if the offense is adequate, it will win a lot of football games. The question is, how much better can they be? Jalen Waddle, I think, makes them a much better offense, makes them a much more dynamic offense. But we have the big question of, how is Bo Nix going to recover from his foot injury? A foot injury affects a lot of the passing game. I know it doesn't sound like you think, oh, the arm's going to affect it. No, because so much of your passing ability comes in your lower body, how you plant, your stance, your footwork, how you manage the pocket. All of these are important, especially for Nix, who is a mobile quarterback. Is he going to second guess running? How is he going to react to this play style? We don't know yet, and that's why they are such a big question mark. But I look at this defense, and I look at their head coach, and I just think at the very least they are a wild card team, and I feel pretty confident in saying that, because you look at the AFC. I have so many questions about the Chiefs, it's not even funny. I have so many questions about the Ravens, not even funny. So those are two potential wildcard teams, in my opinion, that I just have lower than the Broncos. And you look at the Raiders in their division, that's probably 2 easy wins for them. They will at the very least split with the Chiefs, and I have faith they can split with the Chargers. So you look at just the other AFC teams. They're better than the Steelers, they're better than the Browns. They're better than 3 teams in the AFC North, in my opinion. AFC South, I think they're better than 2 of those teams. Texans and Jaguars, I would put above them, or at least on the same level as them. In the AFC East, it's just 2 teams. And Bills, I will put the Bills above them, even though the Broncos beat them in the playoffs, because Josh Allen is a freak of nature. In the Patriots, they just went to the Super Bowl. They deserve to be above them. But you look at everyone else, I think the Broncos are better than them in the AFC. A lot of it's going to depend on Bo Nix's health, how he's recovered, and just how his play style will be effective. If he's fine, it's back to how he was last year. This team will be back in the playoffs, and they are a tough out, whether they win their division or not, because this defense will drag you to the depths of hell. But are they going to be dynamic enough to go win those big-time playoff games? Against the Bills, they were amazing, but the Bills also had an atrocious defense last year. Can they do that against an average defense? We don't know yet in the playoffs, but I'm curious to find out, and I'm pretty sure we will this year. I'd like to say thank you very much for watching this video. If you like this video, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. If you share this, I'd greatly appreciate it. I'm doing 32 in 32 days. 32 NFL team previews in 32 consecutive days. Yesterday was the Cowboys, and there's plenty more to come. Broncos fans, you want to come check out my thoughts on division rivals? Those will be coming soon, and the Chiefs will be first up, and I know how Broncos fans think of the Chiefs. So, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you all have an amazing day.